Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of Comp It Up, where we dive deep into the world of sales compensation and all things SaaS. I'm Manashi, the Director of Marketing at Visdum, and I'm joined by Samir, the co-founder and CEO at Visdum. Today, Samir and I are going to delve into the topic how SaaS has changed software sales. As we all know, the way software is sold has undergone a massive transformation over the past few years, and this is mainly due to software as a service, or as we commonly call it SaaS. Not too long ago, the software industry was dominated by the likes of Accenture, Infosys, Wipro, TCS, etc. And then there were Oracle, SAP, Microsoft. But now it seems Salesforce, HubSpot, and Freshworks are equally visible. So, Samir, my first question to you today is, how is SaaS different from traditional software?
So broadly speaking, Manshi, the biggest difference that traditional software and SaaS have lies in the fact that traditional software is more product centric, whereas SaaS is more customer centric. Right? Let me dig into the specifics of it. SaaS is about subscriptions, whereas product sales is about license. Right? In product sales, customers buy licenses that are typically perpetual or forever, if you will. In SaaS, customers buy subscriptions that are typically annual and that have to be renewed periodically, right? What that means is that customer pays a small amount on a recurring basis, and perhaps more importantly, customer can cancel the contract. So in product sales, you see there was no provision for cancellation, whereas with SaaS, this ability to opt out or disengage or walk away from the engagement has given the buyer or customer full control over how they want to use the software. And that means that the power dynamics has firmly shifted from the provider to the buyer, right? The second point of difference being the fact that traditional software is a product, whereas SaaS is a service. And what that means is that with traditional software, when a customer used to purchase a product or a license, it was supposed to last for a lifetime. And hence, the responsibility to make the product work and deliver value was that of the customer. But with SaaS, because it's a service, the responsibility to deliver value and to make the customer keep coming back to renew is with the provider. The customer is still the king here, right? The third point is that SaaS has, in a way, democratized software, right? Entry barrier is extremely low. For a very low commitment, a customer can start an engagement, right? And it works beautifully for customers that are not very clear about what they want because they can get an easy foot in the door, and that means more lifetime opportunities. Bottom line, in SaaS, the right customer is going to be the successful customer and a happy customer, which means that they will use the provider's service for long, they will buy more, and they will become an advocate. All of these facts will help the provider create the beautiful multiplier effect that SaaS is so commonly known for. And essentially, these are the 3 points how SaaS is different in comparison to traditional software.
Awesome. That's very interesting, and it's a great summary also. So, with SaaS transforming software, I also see a lot of new opportunities arising in the domain of SaaS sales predominantly. So now with SaaS selling coming in the picture, how would you say SaaS sales is different from traditional software sales?
Yeah, so SaaS, as we discussed, is more of how value is delivered. It's more of a delivery mechanism, right? And if it has completely changed the power dynamics, then it definitely has had an impact on how software is bought and how software is sold, right? In fact, it's not sold anymore. It's more sort of bought, and what that means is from selling, it has now moved to assisted buying. Customers can educate themselves. They can go to review websites. They can compare it feature by feature. They can look at what the actual users have to say about the product and different features. Right? That's in fact, product trials now allow customers to experience product and see how well they can solve the problem in hand. They don't need salespeople for that. And whereas earlier it was all about relationships with the salesperson, now it's about relationship with the brand or the team, right? Going on, traditional software selling was more about feature differentiation, right? We do X better than our competition, we do Y better than our competition. Whereas SaaS is all about customer value delivery. We make our customers more successful. We help them get 30% more value, or 30% more benefit, or 30% more outcome, right? From a purely from a sales standpoint, sales is more about behavior and discipline today, and less about skill, as they had been earlier with traditional product sales.
Right. And the way I see it, these are all certain developments that have emerged as a result of this change in value delivery with SaaS. So, what other such developments do you spot?
Yeah. So there are a couple of trends that we already spoke about, right? Helpful to sort of
Yeah.
recount them. Power has shifted from the buyer, because of low barrier to entry, more options to choose from, and the ability to cancel at any time. The second one that we spoke about is how the relationship that the customers now have is with the brand rather than with an individual salesperson, right? Some of the other significant trends or developments that I see due to this change in value delivery is that there has been an emergence of other roles that have become extremely important, right? Marketing, SDR teams, customer success, the rise of revenue operations, right? I mean, these have dramatically changed the landscape. Now internal teams need to and must know how to collaborate to sort of present a unified front to the buyer and not to confuse them, right? So sales must collaborate very deeply with marketing, and they should combine with customer success, to ensure that value is delivered even after the first contract is signed. Customer must work with all these three teams to ensure that product really lives up to the promise that marketing and sales have made.
Absolutely. And it's incredible to see how all these diverse functions are working together and in different businesses to achieve those larger company goals. So yeah, SaaS is clearly putting spotlight on the need for aligned teams more than ever. So moving on, my next question to you is, what stage would you say SaaS sales is in right now?
Right. So, we spoke about how customers experience the product even before buying it through product trials. And that presents an opportunity to providers and sales teams as well, right? Because sales has far more data about what the customer may want, right? And hence, sales has become more data driven. It's more about science today than it is about skill, right? And extending that thought further, sales is more process driven. It's more based on playbooks, where it's more about meaningful interventions than really proactively driving the customer towards starting an engagement, right? Um, Bottom line, discipline and process orientation is as important as relationship building used to be in years back with traditional software.
Great. That's some great insights. Sales is all about playbooks being process driven. So thank you so much for doing this, Samir. Before we end this today, I would love for you to give away a few key takeaways for SaaS founders operating in today's landscape.
Yeah. So, again, helpful to sort of summarize. We spoke about how SaaS has changed the way value is delivered to customers. We spoke about how SaaS has changed the way software is bought and sold. We also spoke about how SaaS has become more about behavior and is process driven. But in a strange contradiction, KPIs and how sales performance is measured hasn't quite changed. It's still primarily based on revenue. For example, in SaaS, 75K revenue from five new customers could be significantly more valuable than 100K from one customer.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, most sales performance systems will not recognize it that way and will reward the second case more, right? So, here are my sort of three takeaways, if you will, for SaaS businesses to truly double down on their bottom line. The first one being make KPIs and comp plans aligned to SaaS GTM. For example, if land and expand is the key sales strategy, then both KPIs and comp plans must reflect land and expand in what they measure and what they compensate on. Second point being, measure and recognize behavior, right? Not just the outcome, because consistent behavior will result in good buying experience, and that will naturally result in a good outcome for the provider. But the focus has to be on the behavior and not getting on outcome at any means. Finally, compensate and recognize on quality of revenue as much as you do on quantity, because it's the quality of revenue that will ensure that the revenue keeps multiplying. In my experience, by doing all these, the teams start rowing in the same direction, and you again, you get the multiplier effect that we've spoken about so many times today.
Great. There are some solid takeaways for everyone tuning in today. And thank you, Samir, once again for sharing your wonderful insights. For our listeners,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Samir. For our listeners, we really hope you found this session helpful. If you'd like to learn more about what we do, please reach out to us at visdum.com. And if you have any questions or would like to connect with me or Samir, you'll find our LinkedIn and email details below. Thank you.